Hello and welcome back to Swapnil's Analysis, and I am Swapnil. Today we are going to discuss about a very beautiful poem entitled The Solitary Reaper, written by William Wordsworth. So we all are aware and we all have already been discussed about the writing style of William Wordsworth. So William Wordsworth, he would go on his tour visiting the countryside of England. After returning back, after finishing his visit, then he would recollect what he had seen on his tour, on his tours to the countryside. And this poem is one of the very fine example of his art of composing poetry. So here in this poem, the solitary reaper, reaper means of cutting the crop, and solitary means lonely. So here he talks about a young country girl who he had seen singing a song while working alone in the field, while reaping in the field. And the whole poem is all about that. He does not understand her language, he doesn't understand the meaning of the language, meaning of the song, but still he is fascinated towards the song sung by that country girl who was working alone in the farm. So let us start. First stanza. Behold her single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, means country girl. Highland lass means country girl. Reaping and singing by herself. Stop here or gently pass. Alone she cuts and binds the grain, and sings a melancholy strain. Oh, listen, for the vale profound is overflowing with the sound. Vale means valley. So here, what is William Wordsworth is asking us to do in the first stanza, that is, he first asking us that behold means look at her. She is single in the field, a country girl working alone in the field, reaping the grain and bundling the grain. And if you want to listen to her song, stop here or gently pass. Do not disturb her singing. If you want to listen to her song, just stop without coming into notice of her or gently pass without disturbing her. Alone she cuts and binds the grain. She is cutting the grain and she is also binding, and meanwhile she was singing a song, a melodious song, which the language he could not understand, the meaning he could not fathom. He was only attracted towards that originality of that song, the rhythm of that song. I mean, there are so many songs which are very popular. The language we do not understand. What we are understanding towards the feelings, emotion, and rhythm reflected through that language or through that song. That is the thing here William Wordsworth he is talking about. And sings a melancholy strain means song. He conjectured through the rhythm and the tone of her song that that song must be a sad song. Melancholy means sad song. Oh, listen, for the vale profound is overflowing with the sound. The whole valley is overflowing through the melancholy song. If you just pay the attention, means here he was exaggerating that her song was so powerful that it was echoing through the valley. The song was echoing through the valley. The next stanza, the first stanza was the introduction of that country girl, beautiful country lass, or highland lass, or country girl, her song, and what she was doing alone in the field. Now, the second stanza is about comparison. Second stanza is about comparison. No nightingale did ever chaunt more welcome notes to weary bands of travelers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. A voice so thrilling never was heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence of the seas among the farthest hybrids. So here he is comparing the song sung by that country girl with the natural songs. I mean, Nightingale is known for the song sung during the night and the cuckoo song as well, that these natural songs of the nature, he has not heard better song than this country girl. He compares the singing, the voice, the rhythm of that country girl, the song of that country girl, to the song sung by the nightingale and the cuckoo bird. He has not heard anything that before in his life. The second stanza, he compares the singing of that country girl with the song of a nightingale and the cuckoo bird. Third stanza. Third stanza is all about rhetorical questions, which answers is not necessary from anyone. He is just asking these questions in the third stanza. What does the speaker ask? Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old, unhappy, far off things and battles long ago. Or is it some more humble lay, familiar matter of today, some natural sorrow, loss, or pain that has been and may be again? The third stanza is all about a rhetorical question. It begins with, will no one tell me what she sings? Means here is asking, will no one is here who will be able to tell me what she was singing? Because he neither could understand the language nor could he fathom the meaning of the language. He was just fascinated towards the rhythm and the tone and the beautiful voice of that country girl. And then the second, third, and fourth line is all about his conjectures about the song. Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old, unhappy, far off things. She must be talking about some old custom, old tradition, or a battle of long ago. The battle of the legend of the battle, or perhaps the everyday thing or humble lay. Familiar matter of today must be the familiar things of today, must be about the customs, must be about the traditions, about some natural sorrow, loss, or pain. Something must be that. He is trying to guess, he is trying to conjecture what could be the meaning of that song, because as he has mentioned in the first stanza that she was singing a melancholy strain, means a melancholy song. So he must be thinking about, she must be talking about some legend, some famous personality, or some of the loss, because that song itself was a sad song, as he himself has declared in the first stanza. Whatever the theme, last stanza, whatever the theme, the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending. I saw her singing at her work, and over the sickle bending, I listened motionless and still. And as I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I bore, long after it was heard no more. So here now the whole thing is getting clear to us that that country girl, she was working alone in the field and she was singing her song. And Wordsworth, or the speaker of the poem, he heard those tunes, the rhythm, those that song, and he stood far away from that young girl. And for a moment, he listened to her song. And he, as we know, he could not understand the language. So he asked some questions. What she was singing about? What she could be singing about? About the battle? About the tradition? About the everyday thing? Or about some sorrow, her personal loss, or something related to the human beings? And then he says that whatever could be the theme of her song, I do not care. Her song has no ending. Why? Because that was the traditional and natural song, which is immortal, which has stood the test of the time. And therefore, he admits that I saw her singing at work over the sickle bending she was cutting the crops. I listened, motionless and still. He did not make any kind of sound. He listened to her song, motionless, the longer he wanted. And again he resumed his journey. That was, he said, that as I mounted up the hill, means again he resumed his journey, his walking. The music in my heart he carried. He carried all the music, all the beauty of that song in his heart. And as he went far away from that country girl, then he could not hear her song. But the rhythm, the tune, the tone of that song has permanently imprinted into his heart. He could never ever forget the emotion, the tone, and the rhythm of that song. Therefore, this poem is so popular and so important in English literature, The Solitary Reaper. What do you think about this explanation of mine? Please do comment in the comment section. And if you have liked my presentation, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.